It's Wednesday, it's Celt Day, and we have a fantastic newspaper for you this week. Full of lots of really interesting news stories, local news stories, important news stories for the region, and also our first day of back to school pictures.
Yeah, the paper is brimming with school pics, so I'll just give you a quick rundown in case your school is in it. So there's Belturbet, Coronea, Killashandra, Arva, Corliss, Swad, Ballyconnell, Gregrahan, Kildallan and Coothill. I believe
plenty of pictures.
Yeah, it's brimming with pictures, but it's actually, that's the lighter side of the paper, and I'm afraid that to start this, we're just going to touch on the front page, which is a very well written story by Michelle Tate, but it's a pretty bleak, pretty bleak, I think. So it's to do with a teenager called Amber Victoria Pam, who is originally from South Africa, has been living with her family in Castlereagh for the last year, and I'm afraid on August 7th, during a family holiday in Paris, she went missing in the early hours of August 7th. So that the last sighting of her was from CCTV footage from the hotel of her leaving with what's thought to be another teenage boy. So we're hoping that it's possibly like
we have a story here with a panicked mother and a difficulty in trying to figure out which authorities are looking for her. Really, that's the big question next.
Yeah, Michelle seemed to hit a brick wall when she approached the Irish embassy, the South African embassy, the Italian embassy, because Amber she's half Italian, and we're hoping that it's the gendarmerie are taking this seriously, but there seems to be very little feedback for the parents, and as the headline says by Amber's mother, Magdalene, I just want to know she's safe. And you know, as a parent, it's hard to fathom what she's going through at the minute. So that is on the front page, and also on there's actually the off lead on the front page is a story that Seamus Enright, senior reporter at the Anglo-Celt, how to get that job. Yeah, tell us.
By proxy.
Tell us about this.
Retirements.
Okay, so the headline's big project in the pipeline. This is to do with Simon Harris.
Minister Simon Harris was in town on Monday, and he's been to Gavin 4 times since he's taken up the post, and twice in the last 12 months, and each time he's come down and announced further investment or proposed investment for in education, third level education here in Gavin. This time it was to open new modular accommodation.
That was already open.
It was open, but to officially open, to cut the ribbon on it. But he also hinted at an important thing that he's pressing upon the CMETB to now get their, I suppose, they have to put together a business case for further funding to redevelop what is the Dublin Road former Doonery barrack site, and that's to take place. He also hinted at the prospect that in the longer term he'd love to see a technical university for the northeast. We see them cropping up all over the rest of the country, but he's eager to have one for this area, and it kind of focuses in on bringing education back to local area, so people can go to college, have these opportunities in their own local area, and don't have to, I suppose, leave home. It's, I suppose, trying to reverse the brain drain a little bit, and it's pushed towards Dublin or some of the major other urban centres, because if any more people go to Dublin, the country's going to capsize.
Well, a source close to the Celt mentioned a sum of 10,000 she was expecting to fork out for her daughter, who did well in leaving Circus University in Dublin. So I don't know. Okay, so elsewhere in the paper, do yourself a favour, we'll not stay too long on this. This is Dara Gorman. Just go online and check out the video of Dara Gorman.
It's absolutely brilliant. The entire weekend I was keeping track of this on Twitter, and the video, everything is brilliant about this story, because it starts off with Cavan Monaghan, Gardaí and their Little Blue Heroes. They select kids who and just make dreams come true a little
Yeah.
bit. And it's brilliant. And these young people have got these opportunities. Dara got they had the new induction of new recruits to their Little Blue Heroes at the Peace Centre in Clonus recently. Dara was one of them, and at that, Chief Superintendent Alan McGovern went and said he was going to go to the match. That weekend he was at the match. The tears, the excitement. I have to say, Liverpool were brilliant. The guards are in this were brilliant.
Yeah,
it's extraordinary. Just a brilliant
it's worth
brilliant
you.
story.
It's lovely. And on page 7, we'll just flag up because Michelle did a lot of work on the abortion figures for Cavan and the surrounding counties in how many years is this? Fifth year since abortion was legalised. It's worth seeing it on page 7. Then just to flag up a sad loss in recent weeks was the passing of Mel Doherty, who was a friend of the paper. He would have did cartoons and for us, and everyone probably knows it needs no introduction, but there's a nice tribute to him, and I'll just read one line from it that I think sums this up. This is from Katrina O'Reilly, the arts officer, and in her little tribute she says, Cavan is a better place because Mel Doherty lived here. His life was a masterclass in living and dying well. And I think that's a lovely way of putting it. And now with the Rugby World Cup on the horizon, well, more than horizon, it's looming large. Michael Keaveney did a good 2-page spread with local rugby players, just giving their predictions of player of the tournament and how far Ireland will go. How far will Ireland go?
I think semis. I think they'll make it to the semis. I don't think I can't see it.
Okay.
I think France are going to win it this year.
Very good. Yes.
No, since you put me on that. How do you think?
I know nothing about rugby. Okay, and the back page, of course, rugby's not the only sport. Have you heard of the Scouse taking off?
What?
Yeah. Well, Paul Fitzpatrick, ever the hype man for GA, says in his back page preview of the final round of the Senior Football and Intermediate Championship, he says, what has been a disappointingly dull championship so far will hopefully, belatedly, come to life this weekend in the final rounds of the Senior and Intermediate Championships down for decision.
Okay.
So that's mouth watering. Brilliant photo too of, is that one of the Smiths? James Smith scoring. I think he's scoring a goal, but his football boot flying off in front of him. Anyway, that is an absolute pack.
It's Wednesday at Celt. Go out and get it. Thanks so much.